For the record, I'm Elila Liberté. Well, with the holiday season well underway, families across the state are looking to put food on their dinner tables. But after the government shutdown and an already tight year for many, that's becoming more difficult. According to Second Harvest Food Bank of Southern Wisconsin, 70% of its partners and programs have reported an increase in the number of people seeking assistance. We sat down with the organization's Vice President of Operations to talk about what that meant this Thanksgiving.
At a time when many folks are sort of starting to prepare their dinner tables and gathering with family to celebrate the upcoming holidays, our minds are on the nearly 147,000 southwestern Wisconsinites who are facing food insecurity.
And let's talk about why we're seeing this gap. Is this something that we've seen slowly increasing over the years? Is there anything in particular about this year that's making it especially hard for folks?
While the government shutdown shone a light on the folks that are sort of struggling with food insecurity at the moment, hunger doesn't really have a season, and we're currently distributing twice as much food as we did during the height of the pandemic. Just steady increases. Our partners are reporting the 70% increases, and we are doing everything we can to help folks sort of meet the moment and shorten the lines outside their doors. We're currently distributing twice as much produce, and we're bringing in more and more truckloads of goods to provide our partners with no cost and low cost food.
And when you're talking about providing double of what you were before, where is that need coming from? What's causing people to need so much help right now?
The recent government shutdown really put pressure on families. 1 in 4 families in this country are living paycheck to paycheck, and this shutdown just put extra pressure on those families. A lot of working families, a lot of folks who are experiencing food insecurity for the first time, having to turn to pantries for support.
So it's a lot of new folks that you're seeing right now.
We're seeing a lot of new folks. That has just increased since the pandemic, and it's continued to increase, and we know the sort of effects of this shutdown are gonna linger, and so we're currently thinking about how we might support through the sort of recovery phase. Government building lights are back on, but we know that the effects from this shutdown will last.
And we can talk to you a little bit about how you're trying to rebuild here in a second, but I wanted to kind of stay on this topic because obviously SNAP benefits were delayed for 700,000 Wisconsinites. That was a huge topic coming out of this shutdown. What does that mean for folks' faith in the food share program here in Wisconsin? Does that shake that at all?
There's a new level of uncertainty that we haven't seen and folks aren't used to. If folks can take away SNAP benefits once, there's a thought that they can take it away again. And so there's just this new level of uncertainty, whether it's our community members, our neighbors, or our partner pantries who might have to step up and help meet the moment, which those systems aren't designed to handle. So there's just a new level of uncertainty that folks are feeling.
And I wanted to ask, too, what impact did this delay have? What are we seeing as of like Thanksgiving dinner tables? What does that look like because of this delay earlier in the month?
Unreal pressure on our agencies who are seeing 70% increases in distribution. That also puts pressure on the food bank. We're having to buy more food. Our partners are having to buy more food. And so community costs as a whole are rising because of this shutdown. We think of it as a teeter-totter. When resources disappear from one end, the emergency food system has to step up and handle that. And they're not necessarily designed to handle that. And so we're relying on community support. We're relying on volunteers and individuals to give to help us meet the moment.
Is that really the solution right now, is asking the community for help, or are there other things that your organization, for example, is doing to try to kind of help what the lingering effects of the shutdown were?
Our ability relies on food, funds, and volunteers, and so those are the 3 things we call on when there is a crisis.
And have you seen success from those calls?
We have. Really impressed with the way the community stepped up this past round. It really put a spotlight on those who are facing food insecurity, but we know there is no season to this, and it will last. And so we need to find a sustainable way to sort of help folks meet the moment, and that's going to come in folks continuing to give and to continue to support.
And I want to ask, too, because there was a bill that it got pulled from the assembly floor for a vote, but I wanted to kind of get your take on it because it dealt with food share. And what it looked to do was get rid of food share coverage for junk food, essentially. And I wanted to get your take on that.
We're urging policymakers and community members alike to help us meet the need. As much as possible, we try to provide folks with nourishing food, and so a big portion of what we distribute is healthy food. We're certainly in line with that, but we also urge dignity and choice, especially around the holidays when folks are, with families and sharing. We emphasize choice, and so as much as possible, we're urging policymakers to support folks in sourcing the food they need and they deserve.
Is now turning to tariffs. This has been a big conversation with grocery bills, things like that. Trump's reciprocal tariffs have been kind of a big point of conversation around the dinner table. But recently, he cut tariffs on products like beef, coffee, bananas, and other food imports. Do you think that will help provide some relief, or is it kind of something that we're already seeing the effects of?
We're hoping it does. We've been forced to make impossible choices this past year with the government shutdown and the increased need. And so we're already forced to make impossible choices, whether it's going to be, milk or eggs for families. And as much as possible, if we can lower cost on goods, it allows us to provide even more to the community.
And you say those impossible choices. Talk to me a little bit about what that has looked like for you.
Our partners are having to purchase more food when their budgets are already tight. As much as possible, we want to help partners stretch their dollars as far as possible. And so as much as possible, if we can purchase and provide our partners with no-cost food, the better. Unfortunately, this year, resources have shifted. We've seen less support, and so that's required us to charge for produce and things and charge for other product that we haven't previously charged for or required our partners to pay for as much as possible. Again, we're calling on the public and the community support to help us provide our partners with the goods they need.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this funding, because I know that Second Harvest last year with the Dane County budget saw some issues and things like that. Where does the budget stand right now? Are you guys at a good place, or are there struggles there?
We rely mostly on community support. We currently don't receive any funding from the county, the state, or the federal government. We rely heavily on individual giving and donors and community members to support.
And so are you seeing enough support right now?
I don't know if there's ever enough support. I don't know that we'll ever meet the need, but we can certainly try. And the more that the community steps up and supports, the more we can do, again, in providing our partners with as much no-cost food as possible.
And I kind of want to just sum up this conversation really quickly, because I want to give context to people who are around their Thanksgiving table and are not facing food insecurity. What is this Thanksgiving going to look like for many Wisconsinites?
It's going to look different for a lot of folks this year. Again, just a level of uncertainty. Folks who, for the first time, are wondering how they might put food on the Thanksgiving dinner table or have a great time with family. There's just a new level of uncertainty. But as much as possible, we're urging community members to get involved, to give financial donations to help meet the need, and then also urging folks who might need support to visit their local pantries. Folks are encouraged to give and support, and we want to let Southwestern Wisconsinites know that the community is here for them.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
To support Second Harvest, you can visit secondharvestsw.org. And next on For the Record, we talk with the Wisconsin Farm Bureau Federation about the impacts tariffs have on the ag industry. Is there any relief in sight for farmers? That conversation when we come back.